Hey guys, this is Haru Miyagi here. I want you to sit down and get ready for this webinar. We're going to be covering a lot of information. So first off, just grab a piece of paper and pen. We have a lot more people coming in, so we'll just do a little audio check. Okay, you guys can hear me? Awesome. So we got several people already using Magic and seeing good results. That's awesome. Okay, well, this session will be recorded for you to review. So, a couple things I need to cover today because we're going to be talking about live projections. Is that past performance is indicative of future results? Just read the disclaimer, of course, and that these trades that we're actually showing are going to be just for educational purposes only, even though they're live trades, and that you're taking them for your own risk. Okay, so there's going to be a massive difference for you guys to understand, how you tell if what I'm showing you is real or not real, or if I'm a trader or not trader. Well, number one, you'll see a lot of things about marketing hype. If it sounds too good to be true, then it's probably that. Okay, trading does take some skills. A couple things I want you to look at in this chart is to identify some of the opportunities or what patterns you can see. Okay, well, you can see I entered right here and my stop loss is up here. In reality, I would want to probably have my entry right here. If I wasn't in right now, I would probably have it right there as my limit order and having my stop loss there. If I was there, this was a day chart, so 2 days ago, this was my entry candle in reality, but I already took some profits pushing downwards. So that was the entry point candle, stop loss there. But let's look at the bigger picture, guys. Okay, people typically only look at this right here. Maybe they can make a few pips, they're scalping, or they're looking to take some profits, and that's fine. The only danger between scalping and looking at a smaller time frame is several things. Your broker does matter, okay, and I don't think a lot of people actually mention that. Some brokers, they trade against you. Some of them may not get you filled because they don't provide enough liquidity in the market. Also depends on the size of your account and also you as a trader, because maybe you're not educated enough about the markets. Okay, so those are some realities, guys, and maybe some of that sounds really harsh. Maybe I should try to be easy on you, but that's just a fact. Okay, so that's why we actually only work with brokers. We actually only work with brokers that actually have a good rating on a website called Forex Peace Army, FPA. So just write that down, FPA, and become a member with them, because they definitely are looking out for clients and people that are reporting some things. Obviously, it's just more of a blog what people think and say, so not all of it's 100% true, but there is some accuracy, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, but I wanted you to kind of visually see this trend line as well as this resistance level. So there were several trading opportunities. Okay, so you could have saw a reversal candlestick pattern right here for a buy opportunity. Resistance, resistance. This was a sell opportunity. See, downward pressure candlestick, engulfing pattern. So there was a sell opportunity back towards this trend line, or support and resistance. Okay, so you can see support, support. Here we are shuffling around. This is where people get confused, especially if they're scalping the market. So here we have a break of this high and a close above that with this candle. So there was a buy opportunity back up to resistance. Then once we got to resistance, we saw the engulfing pattern here, or candlestick pattern, to sell off, and saw that this was in correlation of resistance. Then we form a triple top and kind of a head and shoulder pattern. So we have a shoulder, head, then shoulder, and broke this neckline here. So you could have broke and got in there, and then here's your retest of the trend lines. We had a trend line break, retest, push down. Okay, so some of this is making probably more sense to you. Some of you probably that's been trading for a while, this is just, that's why you love the Magic, because you already see these things and you know when to enter, when you're exiting, and what currency pairs you like to trade with. Okay, well, let me kind of help the guys that are just starting. Typically it's best to trade with pairs that are versus the dollar, the major four. The yen pairs move really quick, guys, so if you're going to trade the yens, there is higher spreads, That means that you once you place a trade, you may pay a commission or spread or swap as well. And this thing moves. I mean, the distance between this candle right here, let's see here, this is a 150 point candlestick. Let's actually look at another chart. Let's look at the Aussie dollar. Maybe same size of candlestick is only like 90 points, so it's like a 60 point difference. So that's actually a pretty big difference, okay, for some of those that understand that. So the candlestick that looks like this on this chart can kind of offset traders looking at different pairs because it may not move as quick, and that's kind of going to affect your money management as well. Okay, but in the pound yen, again, what we're doing is for educational purposes. Okay, we're going to be covering these live trades. Is that I'm looking for a possible pullback right around here. Okay, so we pushed down quite a bit. Look at this big push down, pull back, push down, pull back, and I think overall eventually we're going to be working ourselves down to this price right here, the origination point possibly, but it's going to take quite some time. So this is actually a trade that could actually last a long time, and this is for people that can't be around the charts all day long. Okay, but once it gets to this price, guess what? I'm going to be looking for this kind of movement possibly. I'm going to be looking for some kind of candlestick pattern, reversal pattern, and possibly trade it back up towards this price right here. Maybe this will act like a ceiling, support acting as resistance, over back here, back up to the major high here. Okay, so you can see the stuff that we talked about in the last webinar event. That stuff works. I mean, I'm just showing you step by step, okay, on the entries, the exit, the take profit, stop loss. You'll see it in a fashion where typically these are people that are very impatient. Okay, so let me just give you an idea or background of myself. Is there's people I known that actually trade for banks and major institutes. It's a totally different ball game, guys. When you're managing millions or in a situation where it is just a totally different mentality. Okay, so what I'm showing you is something you can obviously see it works like clockwork. Okay, but at the same time, once you're trading with big money, then there's big emotions, and also you just have to understand the system. Okay, so I really hope that you guys can make great money with this. Okay, for those are serious traders. So this is the pound yen. The smaller time frames are kind of misleading in a way where it may look like it's going down, but it's probably going to pull back a lot more because it is the pound yen. Okay, so what I'm saying is here, see now it's pulling back against me, but I plan to hold on to this for a long time. Okay, so this thing can work its way downwards. If it doesn't work, I might have my stop loss right around here. Okay, benefit of smaller time frames, you can have smaller stop losses and take profits, but hopefully I covered it already that your broker does matter. Okay, and I'll kind of show you why. Your spreads matter. Your spreads can change at any time depending on what kind of broker. Some people that they say they advertise as an ECN broker, but they're not ECN in a way. Some of you are laughing. Okay, and so for some that are new and don't know what that means, it's just saying that you're going to get better pricing and so on and so forth. That you're going to get interbank price and pure liquidity, blah blah blah. Okay, so there's a difference when you're trading on a smaller time frame. There's rumors that scout the market, you may have more trades, but doesn't mean the trades may work out as well. Okay, so you want to be more selective as well. So you want to try to find areas where you can see a trend line like this, and where you have a little bit of room and move down. Okay, so there was an 18-point trade right there, and that's it. I would close the charts because this is where people would actually just waste time, and there's no opportunities really. Okay, for those that are using Magic Stick, there is opportunities. Okay, all you're doing is you're looking for the obvious. Okay, so we have obvious support on the smaller time frame like this, and what's this pattern right here? It's a descending wedge or a descending triangle here. So we could look for the break of this low, the stop loss above here, and look for a take profit at previous support, or you can see even further and just have good risk to reward ratio. Okay. Or if it breaks this high here, then we can refer to this as our support level and keep our stop loss behind this wick, and possibly look for a trade back up towards origination point or even further, depending on how we want to trade. Okay. So there is pros and cons about any time frame, but like I said, it depends on your schedule, guys. Are you going to be someone that's going to be sitting around the charts all day long, or are you going to be someone that wants to take these longer term trades and not have to babysit the trade itself? Okay, so that's a question you should ask yourself. The Euro Yen, just to give you a clue, the Euro Yen does follow the pound yen, and it's because of the yen correlation. You can see that the patterns that go back and forth, you can see the charts are pretty similar in its movement. Okay, so what do we have here? We have this smaller ascending triangle, and we had this break of the trend line, just like how you would trade any trend line. The break, the close, stop loss there. Look at this thing just drop down. So there's plenty of opportunities here. You could also been really tedious and saw the break, but you may not have taken that because you were scared about this big candlestick. You were looking for maybe a pullback up to this area here. As you can see, this trend line, it dings off the price and it just tumbles down. Okay, so I'm in it again. After this ding, I saw a little bit of a reversal pattern here, so I kind of waited. That's my entry point. My stop loss is there, and I might take it just back down here. And I think this one might surpass this support, but I'm going to be looking at what's going to happen right here. You know, it may reverse, it may not. It may just continue going downwards, but obviously you can see that this is just an awesome trade. But if you're not around right now, you might want to look for a possible pull up maybe 50% of this candle, which is the retest of the break of the low here, and stop loss there, take profit here, just have good risk reward. Okay, but there is multiple time analysis. So if you have a trend line break like this that was trending upwards, which is this kind of a shallow trend, you have a high, a lower high, and a lower high. So when it broke this trend line, what you can look for is when it pulls downwards and pulls back up. Okay, I'm going to kind of walk you through this right here. This is the area I'm going to be interested in. Okay, so this is multiple time frame analysis. What you use the bigger time frame for the direction. So when it breaks an upward trend, then we're looking for a downward trend. Okay, so the rule is we're looking for a downward trend. Every time it pulls back up, then we're looking for a push back down. Okay, just think of that. I'm going to go to the 1 hour and go to this little line here and pull it back, and this is the thing I'm talking about. So you see the push down. What you're looking for is the setup pulling back up. Then this is the trend line, and this is the Magic Stick trade that you're looking for your entry point. Okay, and this would be your sell break command. When do I have to have this set up? I have to have 2 points at least. Okay, so once you have 2 points of respect, so these are smaller swing points on a smaller time frame. So the overall trend, because it broke this trend line, is now looking to go down. Okay, so imagine the big time frame. This is the trend line break on the day chart. That's what we have here. So on a smaller time, what I'm looking for, instead of looking downwards, I'm looking for the opposite direction. Once it goes the opposite direction here, this is the breaking candle I would be interested in, giving me a better price. I could keep my stop loss behind this resistance here, okay, as well as here, so you can refer to something behind you as your stop loss, or if you were there right here before you were going to bed, this could be your stop loss. But like I said, you have probably like a whole day or so for this to set up. But just imagine you have this type of a stop loss, 40-point stop loss, and look at where it's at now. I mean, this thing is just, oh, let's pull it back down. I mean, you could have took 190 points off just this trade. Okay, so you could actually have a one trend, two trend, and what I mean by that is you're taking this as your like trailing stop. Okay, you're just letting this thing run and run and run and run and run. And when it breaks that trend, you might look for a pullback again. Okay, so the overall trend again, guys, is down. Okay, does that make sense? So the overall trend is down. So when it's peaking out like this, that means it's probably going to reverse. You don't want to do any trades at all, especially using this technique. All you're looking for is the reversal of it. So if you look like this, so once we have a trend line going upwards, guess what? On the smaller time frame, we have a sell break on this command here. And maybe this trade will work out, maybe it won't. Okay, so I'm kind of monitoring this market. I'll have my stop loss there. And then I could say, well, that's, I can figure out my position size for my account. And then that's where I would enter here. This is kind of where you could probably be monitoring, but you have this long wick candle that could be your stop loss, or right here. Okay, so we had a sell break just like I showed you. Okay, this is a multiple time analysis. So on the 1 hour chart, I'm looking for this thing to pull upwards. And on the day chart, what it's doing is it's like the candlestick is forming downward. So this is actually a wick on a bigger time frame. Indication of weakness. Okay, so look at this. I mean, in reality, a 30-point stop loss, and you have a 2-to-1 ratio already, you would have probably already exited, and you could have re-entered right there. Okay, so cool stuff, right? That makes sense to you, right? So that's just a technique that you can use on these currency pairs. Is again, once it breaks the trend line. So what if we knew it's an uptrend, what we're looking for is a pull downwards on a smaller time frame, and then we're looking for a break of a 1 hour trend line, and looking for this pull back up. I mean, can you imagine having like this right here, and this is your breaking candle, that's your stop loss, and look how big of a take profit you have, a 300-point take profit. Again, when you see it pull back down towards this trend line, you can look for that same trend line break. Entry point there, your small stop loss, and big take profit. Okay, so now I broke this trend, so I'm looking for the exact opposite. Okay, broke a trend line on a smaller time frame. I'm looking for this pull back up, and we'll actually look at right here so you guys can get a really good idea for this move right here. This is the move that we're looking for to make money. Okay, so let's actually look at 1 hour. Oh, you can already see it over there. So typically what you're looking for is a trend line that you can identify. This is kind of hard to find, a trend line. This is something that would be kind of throwing it out there. Really, in reality, the trend line that I would have probably identified would be this one right here. So we have 1 point, 2 points, 3 points. I mean, this thing is hugging. I mean, 1, 2, 3. So we have a body, wick, body, and if it's a body right here and a wick in the middle, this is just great. Okay, so what we're looking for, okay, so this is the area that on a bigger time frame we broke that major trend line like we talked about. Let me get rid of this because that's not a really good trend line, I'll be honest with you. We're looking to go down. Okay, so on a bigger time frame we broke this trend line. So this is the day chart's trend line. Okay, and we have this market push upwards. This is a perfect spot to put my stop loss. And all I have to do is to automate this whole process is say sell break. That's it, guys. I mean, literally. And back to support as my target. Look how good risk reward you have. You have a breakout, somewhat of a retest. I mean, you can really get tedious with these wicks. I mean, you could hit it on the point if you want to be precise about it, but so this is where I would have my stop loss behind this previous high. This would be my entry candle here, And if you were really looking for tight stop losses, this would be right here behind the trend line. But like I said, I think I like this candlestick right here. If I was there at that time, this would be the candlestick I'd be interested in. Okay, as my stop loss candle. And then here we have the break. That would be my entry point. Stop loss right here. And I mean, look how big that take profit is, guys. Massive, right? Okay, so let's do some analysis on the CAD dollar, or US CAD. I went the exact opposite. Sorry. Okay, so let's do some multiple time analysis here. Okay, so day chart is saying that it was trending downwards, right? So we have a high and a lower high, and we kind of, we're still not broken yet, but I'm still in a buy position. Okay, because I figure I have a pretty tight stop loss and take profit, and this thing moves really slow, especially on the day chart. But let's look at this being a reference. We have this reference and this reference. So really, on a multiple time frame analysis, we could have this point right here as one trading opportunity that was just gravy. Okay, right around here, somewhat here as well, because it is overall downtrend. Let me just kind of walk you through that. So we got that. I'm going to kick down to the 1 hour so I can show you. Pull this back to right here. Okay, so this is the area that I would be interested in. Okay, so when you saw that on the day chart, let's go back to the day chart so you can see what I'm talking about. So you know it's a downtrend because you have this swing point and this swing point, and it pushes downwards, and you see a big candlestick like that. What you're looking for is the market to reverse on the smaller time frame and then enter based on probably this candlestick right here. So we're going to put this thing on here. Okay, so on a 1 hour time frame, pull this back, I'm looking for this general area for something to happen. Okay, what I'm looking for is a break down lower, and you can see how, I mean, this is a really tight trend line here. I mean, if you want to go like this, that would be your breaking trend line. So it's a pretty shallow trend. A couple things I like about it. It's taking the body, an obvious wick. I mean, look at this thing just bounce right off of it. And then you have a reversal right here, so that's something in interest. You can see that it's like a ceiling right here. It ceilings out. So imagine that this is where it reverses, right up back here. This is considered the swing point on the day chart. Here would be my breaking candle. That would be my signal. So if I was going to bed, this is what I would have done. Here would be my sell break command. Okay, stop loss right there, which is about 40 points or so. And I mean, this thing, you could have just left it in for quite some time. I mean, this is, you can get a good night rest right there. Then you probably woke up, maybe you would close it out right here with 50 points. Or again, you might have looked for this pullback right here. Again, the overall trend is down, guys. So what you're looking on a smaller time frame, you're looking for 1 point, 2 points, break. Okay, and it just gives you such a small stop loss to take profit ratio. So that's a 3-to-1 ratio on that trade. So look at that thing. I mean, if you took it all the way down here, that's 120 points, guys, just with this trading method. And you can just set it and forget it. Okay. Alright, so let's actually reanalyze this market. So overall it's a downtrend still. So I have a trend line like this. So on a day chart, we could look for a break of the trend line. What I'm interested in is just this little candlestick pattern right here. Okay, I see that this is support, this is a little higher. So what I'm looking for is a possible low and a higher low situation. And I'm kicking down to 4 hour. I'm up a little bit, and it's just consolidating right now. So like I said, I have it behind this swing low is where I would actually have my stop loss if you were to enter right now. Maybe a pull back down like right here and push back up. But the set and forget thing that we're looking for, probably this is our breaking candle of this resistance here. So again, if you were to take that trade or look for even a higher low for a breakout like this, because it is pulling downwards, this is where I put my stop loss, breaking candle, and let this thing just run. Because again, this thing's been trending downwards quite some time now, and what we're signifying is we have a low and a higher low, but this low is also higher than this low. This low is lower than this low, excuse me, this is a higher low. And we're looking for this to possibly trade upwards. Okay, so again, if you do multiple time analysis, you just want to use 2 time frames. That's it. One for direction, one for entry and exit. The Aussie dollar, it's not treating me right, but that's fine. Here we can kind of get an idea that this market has consolidated, so it's broken this trend line. A couple things you can look for to get a better trade than I have right now with this market, because I was actually basing my trade off this engulfing pattern right here. Okay, what I would look for if I wasn't in already is look for a retest of this trend line, or see how it holds with this price right here. Okay, if it consolidates and we see another red candlestick, then that might be your entry point, stop loss above here, and possibly take profit right here. Okay, so but look at this though. Like we talked about with this pair here, see this trend line. So if you can signify this trend line like this, just imagine, guys, just on this pair alone, for this is probably like the last 2 weeks. I mean, I'll just show you golden trade after golden trade. I'm just going to show you this trend line here. So you know it's an upward trend on the day chart. What you're looking for on the 1 hour standpoint is this pull down, pull down, pull down, and a break back up. Okay, so let's actually kind of show you that. So you can either take it on the bounce. We talked about that too, the bounce, this candlestick pattern itself. But if you're looking for just the set and forget with using not having to be there to wait for that close, okay guys, that's where Magic comes into place, right? So we're looking at a spot right here. Let me put it right there. Turnaround point and turnaround point. Okay, you're using the day chart for momentum, using the 1 hour chart as your entry and exit strategy. Okay, so we have that, and also one right here that are just sticking out by textbook. Okay, so I'm going to go to the 1 hour and bring it downwards and kind of show you how to look at the market this way. Okay. Okay, so first off, you can see that this is the daily trend line, and you can actually color this if you want to. So if you want to have it be a different color like blue or red, just to help you see if it is, so you know that it is the day chart's trend line. So the trades that we were looking for, okay, so we already have a high and a lower high and a lower high. Here's the trend line that we're looking for. Okay, all we're looking for is, this would be a buy break command. Here's the buy break command. Here would be the entry point. So buy break command, entry point here, and this thing actually didn't work out. Sorry about that. This is the thing I was looking for. Sorry. So that one trend line, you might have lost on that trend line. Okay, this is the one I was looking for. Sorry guys. So here's the buy break. Okay. So realize that not every single trend line is going to work out for you. So you put buy break. Sorry, I didn't type that in right. Buy break. Here you could actually profited if you woke up the next morning and just closed it out right there, or moved your stop loss, because you would have had like a stop loss there or there. So in this situation, you might have won if, depending on how you reacted in this general facility. But if you look at it, it's a 1 hour chart, so you have about 1 or 2 days before it goes in the red. Okay, but look at this. This thing is just solid. Look how, like, again, drawing a trend line is very simple, a high and a lower high, and look how it connects to the body and the wicks. And you want it to be like this, and here it doesn't really reach that far, but look how tight of a entry point. This would be your breaking closing candle, and you have all this time to put that buy break command in and keep your stop loss around there. Okay, and this thing is like, you have like a 50-point stop loss and a 175 take profit. So look at this, look at this area. This is where we're interested in, pushing downwards towards that big daily trend line. Comes downwards. This again here, guys, is a wick on a smaller time frame. This is your entry candlestick. You can keep your stop loss behind the trend line or this swing low here, and this thing climbs. I mean you could even add positions if you saw even other trend lines like this. Entry there, keep on adding if you wanted to, depending on your trading methodology. Okay, trend line, break, and you have a double, like an engulfing pattern there for reference as well. So again, the trend line break, you probably want this to be your stop loss, but all you have to do is put buy break, guys. That's it. I mean, it is just gonna, can you imagine not having to look at the chart and say, okay, well, is it gonna break? No, it's not gonna break. Is it gonna break? Is it gonna So this thing is going to save you so much time and energy and help you take advantage of this low risk, and look how big that take profit is. Okay, so these are trading opportunities that we also look for. And again, this one doesn't have the black in it, but here's your trend line. We know it's an overall uptrend, so look at this 1 hour trend line that's going against the day chart trend. This is our entry on the break of this trend line because the overall trend is up. Here's our stop loss right around here. This could be our reference if we saw the chart here, because we would have what? A buy break command in here using Majestic. Okay, stop loss there, breakout. Look, right to the origination point, guys. That's a 60-point take profit. And I mean, if you could took some profits and you could have got back in right here as a buy break. Okay, let me type that right. I can't even spell break. Buy break, guys. Buy break. You have a lot of time. Here's your entry point, your stop loss there. I mean, this thing is 150 points. Okay, and then once we go towards the day chart trend line, then this is where it starts breaking the day chart trend line. So that's something I might be cautious with. But again, if you have trend lines buy a break, I mean, you have so much reaction time, you probably even broken even on that trade. Buy a break. So again, price has to be below the buy break command before it crosses it. And all you have to do is place these stop losses just like the video we saw before, and just realize that you're not going to win on every single trade, so you want to be just, you know, cautious of that. So here's, again, this is a wick, buy a break, stop loss there, 35 points, 95 plus. I mean, this is, you got to realize how much reaction time you have. You have like 2-3 days to close this thing out, or even put a trend line under it to trail it up. Okay, guys, so review this video. It's going to go through a lot of details of, look how many buy breaks we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one lost, remember, or you could have made some money off of it depending on how you treated it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 trades that are just gravy for you, just on one day chart trend line and smaller trend line breaks. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm going to have some really good information for you in this next video, so I hope you join us in this next video here, and I hope this gives you a better idea of how amazing this trading tool is. Alright guys, take care.